Yo, what is going on, y'all? I'm Cavell Anderson, and we're back with another VeVe and Ecomi video. And this one, we are going to be going over a video by VeVe. We're going to be seeing if people are actually still active on VeVe. And that means if new users are still signing up and if they're staying around and sticking around for a decent amount of time after they do sign up. So, yeah, VeVe has actually dug into some of the information. I am interested in hearing what's going on. Because yeah, I don't know how hot VeVe is right now. I know the entire market and the entire space is just it's in a state right now where everything is building. A lot of people think that VeVe's over with, VeVe's had its run and it's done. But that's how people are supposed to feel. People's money is on the line. Like you're supposed to get nervous. You're supposed to get scared. It's like it's not very regular for people to be able to stay calm when they're uncertain about their money, especially if you are over leveraged, which with the type of passion that VeVe drew out at its peak, of course, a lot of people are probably over leveraged or overexposed. So, I mean, that comes with the territory. A lot of people are scared and nervous and don't really know what to expect. I still expect the same thing, to be honest. I mean, the vision hasn't really changed. It just looks like they're getting closer to it because of the amount of people that they've hired. I think that's a good sign because obviously, if they wanted to do the exact same thing they've been doing with VeVe, they didn't really need to hire hundreds of new people. They never needed to do that to keep VeVe the same. So the fact that they're getting a team this big and this extensive lets you know that, okay, they're planning to do something big. Now, I don't know what that something is. That's what I don't have the information on, but I mean, they're not looking like they're trying to stay in the same spot. So yeah, let's see how many people are signing up, how active VeVe still currently is. And yeah, let's get into it. Be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We will be back on the channel with other content. Like we dropped a video on we dropped a Bitcoin documentary about a guy who stole billions of dollars and literally told on himself. That was crazy. And then we dropped a video on the recession. So there's been some new content being added to the channel as well. Obviously, I want to expand my knowledge in this entire space. So I'm back in student mode. So yeah, that being said, let's jump into it, y'all.
Any new users joining VeVe? Has user growth on VeVe stagnated? Or is the project even dying? When scrolling through Twitter, I often encounter comments like, "There's no hope for VeVe, this is a dead project, there are no new users joining this project, or users are even fleeing, or those users that are joining right now are not real or legit users but bots or people that try to game the system." So, of course, what I did is take a look at the data and see what the data is telling us and try to find answers to those questions. Are there any new users joining VeVe? And if yes, are those users actually sticking around? And I'm going to share my insights with you. I'm VeVe Fox. I'm your source of everything data related to VeVe. I hope you find this video interesting, and without further ado, let's dive right into it. So first of all, if we head to Immute Scan, we can see this chart, which is unique owners. This counts all wallets that hold at least one item of VeVe. And as we can see in the past couple of months, this has actually been growing. This doesn't necessarily tell us that there are users actually joining VeVe, but it does tell us that the number of wallets holding VeVe items has increased. Although in the past couple of days, it has been kind of flat. Then for those of you that are familiar with my VeVeX tracker dashboard, if not, link is down in the description. You know that I have a chart down here where I track new active wallets. Because very important here, whenever I talk about new wallets, it's new active wallets. I have no means to know if someone, a user, downloads the VeVe app or creates an account on the VeVe app, but I can see whenever a wallet makes their very first transaction. So a new wallet is for me a wallet that made the very first transaction on VeVe. And as we can see here, in the past couple of days, there have been new users or new wallets joining VeVe. However, it is kind of like the numbers are pretty low.
That's crazy. You got 15 people joining and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not even gonna say during a bear market, that's okay. That's kind of sad. You got the biggest brands in human history, and that just goes to show you as well. Like I saw a comment on one of my recent videos where someone said that the importance of influencers was secondary to them having all these big brands and continuing to invest in IP. And I would disagree completely with that comment, because it doesn't matter if you have the greatest IP in the world if no one ever knows. Like, think about how many musicians never go anywhere because people don't know about their music. Like, all the artists that was overlooked back in the days as painters, a lot of these guys were poor when they were painting this art. But then when they passed on, people finally caught on to, oh, this is some beautiful artwork. It doesn't matter if you're the best in the world at what you do if no one knows it. And that's what influencers do. Influencers is a tool for marketing. We can reach different types of audiences, different people that maybe VeVe doesn't reach on its own, or yeah, it's just that's what marketing is, man. We live in an age of marketing. Like, people have short attention spans. So just having all these brands is not really enough. It needs to be, because you say VeVe has all these brands, so does Fortnite. What makes VeVe special? I mean, yeah, to a collector, if you're talking about first appearances, then yeah, but you have to have somebody to break down how these are the first appearances, why that's important, why digital is good. Like, you have so many explanations to break down that it's like, you need people on the front lines when it comes down to getting a project like VeVe really out there and expanding into the mainstream size. So yeah, but anyway.
So on average, here I record the average daily new active wallets of the past 7 days, and the daily average is 13 new active wallets. So it's not like in 7 days the total were 13, but that's the daily average. Then on some days we do get these kind of bursts of new wallets joining VeVe, and this is often due to a very popular drop happening. So August 31st, this was, let's see, the Avengers #1 comic. So I'm not very knowledgeable about comics, but apparently this must have been a very popular comic. So this is where the speculation comes from, that new users are bots or just users that come in to try to flip a very popular item. But is this actually true? So this is where I had to dig a bit deeper into the data. Let's take a look at it. Here are all new wallets by the months they joined VeVe. So we see here in total until the end of August, a total of 8,000 users joined VeVe. And yes, I know it's kind of underwhelming that in more than half a year, less than 10,000 users joined the platform. But keep in mind that we are in a crypto bear market, that the NFT space in general has not been doing so great this year. So considering
VeVe has zero marketing. And I mean, you don't need to be marketing certain things, but there are things you can market. VeVe is not the best when it comes down to marketing. They're not very good at it at all. They lucked up and got a bunch of us who knows how to market, who's been into this game. And then they got a bunch of passionate people who are just hardworking. Like, you got me, VeVe Vault, Taps Trades. You got a lot of people, especially early on, Kyle Wilson. You got a lot of people who just was monumental in getting VeVe's name out there and getting the importance of what VeVe had to offer out there. So yeah, I mean, this is why I think people is very, very important, because it don't matter who shouts VeVe out, who says this, who says that. What gets people to stick around and really feels validated in their decision to jump on board and stick around is other people, real people who are invested and love the project. You don't see that, you're a lot less likely to join. That's just what it is. It's like, you can have the best looking gym shoe in the world at a store, but if no one else is at that store, it's a ghost town, it's empty, you're going to question whether you should buy those shoes from that store. Like, you're going, yo, what's wrong with them? Why is nobody else here? Why does no one else care about these shoes from this place? And then you go look at a store right across the street and the line is packed all, like, you're going to think it's something wrong with the shoe. Like, you're not going to get the shoe from the store that's a ghost town. You're going to get it from another store. But, hey.
Doing all that, I still think that 8,000 new users is not too bad. So yeah, here we see that we started off actually quite strong in the first quarter with approximately 1,500 new users per month. Then the second quarter was a bit weaker with only about 500 to 1,000 new users a month, but it seems like it is recovering now. So the interesting part now is, what is about user retention? And if you're not familiar with the term retention, it means users sticking around or still using the app. So this is what I looked here. And how do we read this chart? So here we have again the months a wallet joined or had their first activity on VeVe. And here we have the months since they joined. So this means on January this year, we had 1,481 users joining. So month 0 for them is January. Then the month #1 would be for them February, and month #2 March, and so on. So same for the users joining in February. There were 1,136 users that joined in February this year, and month number 1 for them would be March, and so on and so on. So, and what do these numbers represent? These are the number of users that were still active in that month. So that means that of the 1,481 new users that joined in January, 862 users were active the following months. So in this case, for this...
So after a 3-month span, people get bored with VeVe. And that's where you start to see the bigger drop-offs. Well, I mean, a lot of people got bored immediately, or those were not real accounts. I mean, you never know. But it's a consistent pattern of people joining, nothing's going on in the community, so they leave. The community is dead. You got the secret sources and stuff. It's not really secret, but if you're not a part of the community, you don't know what live stream. Like right now, I have been so inactive in the community. If I wanted to go listen to a VeVe stream or something, I wouldn't know where to go, who to go to. Like I don't know. Like nothing's buzzing right now. It's just not. And that's the thing. Like that's the power of marketing. Like regardless of, oh, people say, oh, I found this, I found VeVe from this, I found VeVe from that. Like a lot of this stuff was promoted on bigger sources getting bigger views. And that's why people, oh, the Telegram was being linked on different bigger platforms. People didn't just go straight to Telegram and know it, oh, VeVe's there. It's like, no, like it was promoted by influencers. It was like, you know, these other avenues of people getting into VeVe and stuff like that, that was getting shared by people. So people got to realize how all of this stuff is connected. Most people don't. Most people don't understand how business works because, I mean, most people don't have businesses. But all of this stuff is really connected. So I think people have always slept on the importance of influencers, and people have always been mad at me because I know my worth and my value. And it's when I say the things that I say, people think, oh, ego, when in reality, no, it's just business. Like you understand that, oh, if I got one person to join this project, they join the Telegram group, but now they got all their friends to just bypass my channel and just go straight to the Telegram group. Yeah, this person can now say that they joined because they came through the Telegram, but it doesn't change the fact that all of that, like it started with me promoting VeVe. So it's like, it's really tough to debate against some of the things that I've said. It's just people always find a way to do it. And then the numbers start to paint a very clear picture that now the big free marketing machine that VeVe has been getting this whole time, it's gone downhill. So now things are just not as exciting. And the reason that it's going downhill is because there's really not much to talk about. Like VeVe still has the same potential that it's always had, but VeVe is boring. They have not dropped anything that's going to make retention really that great, to be honest. There's nothing that's just really cool going on VeVe right now. It's not, like, not in my opinion, because that's the thing. If something really cool is going on, no one's hearing about it, and that just proves my point even more. I don't even know about it. I don't even know that. Like, I feel like if something's big enough is happening with VeVe, I would know about it. I would have heard about it. I would have saw about it. I would have saw it from somewhere. The fact that I've heard nothing means nothing is happening. So yeah.
Cohort, it would be February, and 767 in the second month. So of course, to put that into perspective, it's better to see this in terms of percentages. So that's what we see here. Let me put myself out of the way. So here again, we have the same chart, but just the numbers as percentages. So from all the users that joined in January, the following months in February, 58% of those users still made some transactions or were still active on the primary or secondary market on VeVe. 52% were still active even in the months afterwards, so in March. 45% were active in the months afterwards, and so on and so on. So of those users, last month in August, 31% of those were still active. So in business terms, it's very usual to look at the 30-day or 1 month retention. So this would be on average on VeVe around 47%. And also interesting is always the 90-day or 3 months retention, which in this case on VeVe is around 33. So what does it mean? Is this good? Is this bad? Unfortunately, I didn't find any statistics related to like NFT projects in particular, but we can look at some industry standards across other sectors. So, and then if we see here, the median attainment is around 43% for the 30 days or 1 month retention, and all the others like e-commerce, retail, 37, technology 33, and gaming 27. So we can see that VeVe, with their average 30-day retention of 47, is pretty much above average. And when it comes to the 90-day retention,
VeVe has always performed above average, but in this space is a very small and niche space, and it just shows a clear sign that there's no clear standard that's defined. I think that this paints a very clear picture that people come and join and they don't stick around when they should. There's no other place that you can have all the brands and IP that VeVe brings to the table. They have every selling point to keep people around and to keep people interested, but people are just not. It just shows that VeVe doesn't have enough. I don't think that those other comparisons really correlate well with VeVe at all. Maybe gaming-ish, kinda. I don't know, but even still, I don't know where those numbers come from in gaming either. But yeah, it's like I don't believe that for the IP, for the magnitude of what VeVe brings to the table, it's supposed to attract a lot of people. A lot of people still don't stay though. Like, to instantly have half the people not come back on VeVe, it lets you know there's a clear problem.
we saw that VeVe had an average of 33, and this is also pretty much above the average of those different mobile app industries. So what does this tell us? The theory that new users are mainly bots or users that come in for a quick buck and not really interested in staying for the platform kind of falls apart. Because as we can see, the user retention on VeVe is actually pretty good compared to the mobile app industry benchmark.
I mean, but if you look at the number, like, percentages can be slightly deceiving, I think, because if you just look at the numbers, 1.4 thousand, almost 1.5 thousand people joined by this month 6. It was down to 400. So literally over 1,000 people stopped using the app. Stopped using the app at all. So I mean that's a big drop. That's a big drop off, and it's just very consistent. It's very consistent with, but we know that there's nothing to do. So I mean, I wouldn't say VeVe is dying. I just don't think that there's enough of a reason for people to stick around right now. But it is good to see VeVe somewhat falling slowly. I mean, because it's going down for sure, but it's going down slowly. So I think that as long as they keep the interesting drops to boost things, so it continues to slow fall, then big drop, then slow fall, big drop, slow. As long as they keep that type of pattern while they're building, when it's time to really drop some heat, like once they drop the anime verticals, excuse me, yo. Once they drop the anime verticals, once they drop some of the other cool stuff that's supposed to be coming out, and they start dropping a bunch of hits back to back to back during a bull run, I think it'll be fire. Then it'll be. I don't think that this is bad for now. I don't think this is a bad place to really be in right now, because it does show people are still interested. People still have some interest in VeVe.
Numbers we just saw. So another data point that we can look at that would support this theory is looking at how active are those users on VeVe. So what I did was looking at the average days a user is active per month. So this does not translate to how many transactions, but just how many days has a user been active on VeVe. Active meaning making some sort of transaction. And as we can see here again, usually the first month the user is active on roughly 2 days. But then the interesting thing is what we see also is that those users that stick around after the months they joined, the activity actually increases. So we see that the months after joining, the activity actually already increases to approximately 3 to 4 days a month. And
this is good. This is interesting because it shows that the collectors do get addicted or do get, interested a lot more in what's going on with VeVe. So you got the majority of people who come don't care to stick around because VeVe's boring. But the people who do and are probably true collectors and really value this stuff in terms of from a collector's perspective, they get more interested. So yeah, I think that this is a clear sign that when VeVe drops in the future and they're really ready to introduce some interesting things, I think that it's gonna be huge. Like people are waiting on VeVe to do something. I think people are patiently waiting on VeVe to make some big moves.
Then they stay pretty active afterwards. And this also tells us that those users sticking around are probably legit users. But what else can we look at? Some of you who know my videos know that I love to look at what I call the net accumulation. So what is the net accumulation? It's when we take all the purchases and mints and also the sales of a user and the sum of it, and we see if it's positive, then the user acquired more items than they sold, and if it's negative, then they sold off more items than they purchased. And if it's zero, that means that the user basically flipped all the items that the user purchased. And averaging the net accumulation of all the new users, we actually see that it comes out positive. So this tells us that there must be more users stacking items than flipping or selling off their items. And roughly on average, the accumulation is between 2 to 3 collectibles. We can also look at basically the percentage of users that...
I mean, this pretty much painting a clear picture that there's some... VeVe is underperforming for what VeVe is, but there's money to be made on VeVe, and there is, like, they're killing it when it comes down to collectors. I think that pretty much what we already know is being shown, like, but this is like really just kind of common sense. Like, they're killing it when it comes down to collectors. It's not interesting for most people, but collectors will stick around and enjoy it. I want to see what happens once they start to release more verticals of what's supposed to be coming.
That have a net positive accumulation versus a net negative accumulation versus a net zero accumulation. And we're looking at a monthly basis here. So basically here in this chart, I joined all the cohorts and just looked at the months after joining. So these are all the 8,393 wallets that joined VeVe this year until the end of August. And in the first months they joined, when we look at the percentages, we see that 65% of them had a net positive accumulation. That means they purchased more items than they sold. So we can assume that those users are not just flippers, but users that are actually interested in keeping some of those items and collecting. Of course, in the first months, it's not possible to have a net negative accumulation. And yeah, the rest 35% had a net zero somewhere.
Yeah, so the people who are sticking around, it's like they're true collectors. They're sticking around and holding things. So yeah, I mean, this paints a clear picture. We pretty much understand what's going on right now. Be sure to follow her channel. Be sure to follow VeVe Fox, man. She puts out great content. I think a lot of her content gets slept on, and yeah, I think that this information is very, very valuable. It's pretty much something that you could just look around and see, but it is good to have those numbers put behind it. But yeah, let me know what you all think. Let me know how you all feel about this in the comment section down below. Do you feel that VeVe is doing a good job? Do you feel that you just what mindset are you in right now? Me personally, I'm just waiting, chilling. I'm not expecting anything big from VeVe right now. I'm not expecting anything huge. I'm just waiting patiently. It's gonna take a while for them to hit the Ready Player One milestone, if that's even still the goal. So what's the rush? I'm chilling, relaxing. But let me know how you all feel. What are you all doing? Are you still collecting? Are you stacking? Are you waiting to see what happens? Any sign of life before you do something? Are you looking for your first opportunity to get out? Let me know how you all are feeling about the project right now, man. But that's pretty much it. Be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace out, fam.